This is the time of year it's important to take precautions to protect you and your family from mosquito bites. West Nile virus and other diseases can be spread through the bite of an infected mosquito. The City of Irving has a year-round mosquito control program, and Shane Diller is the City of Irving's Code Enforcement Director. He joins me now. Thanks for being here to talk about this important topic.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, and in addition to residents taking action for themselves, the city is also very active in mosquito control. Let's start with the trapping program. Walk me through what's involved with that.
Irving has a very aggressive mosquito trapping and testing program. We have the city divided into 60 zones, and we test those zones on a weekly basis using mosquito traps that our staff places out, collects, and then takes to a lab to see if the mosquitoes caught in those traps have West Nile virus, to see how many mosquitoes are caught, so that we can understand what areas of the city need more attention than others, and then target our response to those areas.
Yeah, and there have been a number of infected mosquitoes captured in traps across the city this year. How does the city decide when and where to spray?
When we have a positive test, a trap comes back and shows that there's a positive West Nile virus test in that trap, we have a targeted spraying of that zone. And so our staff will go out at night and they will spray a safe larvicide. It's safe to humans, safe to pets, but it prevents the mosquitoes from continuing to breed. And then we will then test that area again and make sure that the West Nile that we originally found is gone, and continue trapping and testing and spraying in that way until we get negative tests. So that way we have a focus on smaller areas instead of a blanket approach that may be less effective.
Yeah, and you mentioned it is safe for pets, which I know we get a lot of questions about. And we have been talking on this program about the steps in mosquito protection. We have those on the screen right now. Let's highlight a couple of them. Using mosquito repellent containing DEET. And a mistake I know your team sees a lot, having standing water. What impact can that have?
Standing water is one of the things we look for and try to fight against the most in regards to keeping mosquito breeding low and keeping everything safe. Standing water allows mosquito larvae to become full-grown mosquitoes and then to spread. So we ask people to make sure that they dump out buckets and they watch for areas that may be low on their property where after a rain or after watering, the water may stagnate and may stay standing, and clear that water out and let us know if they're seeing other areas that are not their responsibility that need attention, and we can notify the owners of those properties or even head in ourselves and treat the areas with the standing water so that there's not a mosquito breeding situation.
The city has a mosquito control hotline, and we'll put that number on the screen. When should someone call that number?
I would call that number anytime you feel as though there's standing water that's not being addressed, or you have questions about an excessive amount of mosquitoes in an area, or feel there's something that code enforcement or our vector control team need to look at.
Yeah, and let's talk time frame. Our guard's up now, but when do we generally see West Nile activity decline?
The West Nile season generally runs from about April until October. And so only in continued warm and continued wet weather would we see it extend beyond October.
Irving Code Enforcement Director Shane Diller, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Learn more on all of this and find spraying schedules at irvingfightsthebite.org. And as I mentioned, the city has a mosquito hotline. Here's that number again, 972-721-3755.